What's going on, Workforce? Brian here, and today we're talking about the Mighty Machinist in Final Fantasy XIV. This is just my general overall thoughts about the job and how it relates to Stormblood and how it relates in the overall world of 14, as well as just my opinion of the game play, really, and how the job kind of feels and fits. And I want to reiterate that this is my opinion, and I actually, if I say anything, whether it's extremely positive or extremely negative about the job itself and you're enjoying it or you hate it, just know that I would love to know your feedback and your thoughts about the job. Am I missing something or am I seeing something that isn't there? Sound off in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to talk about this job and really any job that is in Final Fantasy. That's kind of what this series itself is about. But to really kind of cut to the chase, if you guys have seen any of my streams about me kind of playing Machinist, I have to say that playing the Machinist and leveling it up was the hardest, grind in the game currently. Machinist didn't resonate with me. Now, I liked, at least I thought I was going to like the whole, turret system. And then at the end of it, I'm just like, give me a machine that's going to follow me and that's going to attack. I really was hoping maybe for more of a pet job. I like pets. I really love Summoner. And that's really where I come from. So if you're not aware, if I'm sitting here like, who is this guy? And he's bashing on Machinist, it's that, I'm a caster at heart. And that's where I guess maybe I set my expectations wrong, because I was like, wow, okay, ranged DPS. Like, I like casters. They're ranged DPSs. But it just didn't connect with me in a way that some of the other jobs have and that I've enjoyed in particular ways. And that's what made the grind in and of itself challenging and difficult. And, I didn't necessarily feel motivated outside the fact that I really wanted to put together, a controller layout guide, because I know everybody's been asking for it. You guys voted on Machinist. Everybody's been really wanting Machinist. The comments themselves and then obviously the polls said that. And so I was really excited about starting, and it took a lot longer than I anticipated because it was just challenging. DPS queues times aside, a lot of people in the community for the live stream stepped up and helped make and take off a lot of that pressure to have to sit here and wait in queue. But outside of that, there wasn't this just drive or motivation to play the job. Now, the job I thought played well. Obviously, I felt like I was able to output really good damage. I liked the utility of it. I liked being able to put on Refresh and Tactician. I felt like those brought a lot to, group content. But I didn't really connect with, again, like I said, the turret system. I really didn't connect with the ammo system. It kind of just felt like it was there. It felt like I had to bounce around a lot at the end of the day. And so it's kind of with those two things that, it just didn't, it didn't sing to me. And that's not to say that you shouldn't check it out, because it might. Please don't take what I say as gospel truth that this is the way it is. It just wasn't all that fascinating. I just would have loved to see more on the Machinist side of things. I always kind of felt like the name was kind of ununique in that regards. I guess when it was announced, I was kind of hoping they'd call it Engineer, because that kind of, for me, fits more into line with what the job in and of itself was trying to do. And so that's just kind of where it falls. It's a ranged DPS. I'm glad they took away the old Gauss barrel system of having to stand still. The mobility thing is definitely a plus, especially as a caster, having to kind of stay still while you're casting. Being able to move around and do a lot of that was a plus. There was a lot of strengths that I felt like the job brought that I am not typically used to. Like if I play a Black Mage, the utility was a really nice thing. And at first, it was a challenge coming from Black Mage to saying, oh, I can buff the group. I can help out in these regards. I can do these different things. I should remember to do those type of things. But no, that's just kind of where I fall. And I'd love to know what you think about the job itself. I mean, there's a lot of people who asked for it. So either you were like, we're going to let Brian play this job and it's not that good. Or, you're really interested in my opinion and you're interested in how I would lay out the controller. So hopefully you've checked out the controller guide if you were, needing that kind of thing. And maybe it resonated. If it didn't, let me know over on that video, because I'd love to know your feedback. But no, I didn't feel it was... I thought at least at a minimum the heat gauge system was interesting, especially 60 to 70. Obviously, at Heaven's Word with the heat gauge, there's no way to cool it off, so it would just kind of count down. You would try to stack your biggest damage. Obviously, like with Wildfire, to kind of really build that together and really, get that real big spike damage. And so that, I think, was at least interesting. I like that. Obviously, that ability where you want to, put out as much damage, and that's going to have an impact on the overall damage that it does. So I thought that was cool. And then over 70, where the heated shots came in to play, and then how you kind of managed your heat gauge. Honestly, I felt that was kind of interesting because, again, you won the stack and push because you get that extra DPS output during that one phase. But all in all, like, it was really cool about that. So I can respect that. I can, and I like anything that auto upgrades, obviously. So it was really cool. Over 50, and then obviously you got that ability to push you right to 50, so you can be in heated mode, and then hot shot. So there's a lot of little things that you can kind of stack. And I felt at least from a pacing, from kind of, if you think of the rotation with 60, 80, 90, that those were roughly the kind of cooldowns. So it kind of really, I felt like it had a good solid pacing. Maybe some of those things could have been sped up a little bit more, in my opinion. I think I would have liked to have seen, I guess with Heartbreak, and I ended up macroing it in Goss Barrel. Not Goss Barrel, excuse me, Goss Shot. Regardless, it's like I would have loved, I macroed him so that they could be one. I think that would have probably been something that could have been easily kind of put together, where like under 20% and ended up going off cooldown, and then ended up being a bigger shot to help weave that in a little bit more. But outside of that, I'd love to know your thoughts on Machinist. I've got Bard at 50, and so honestly, I've enjoyed playing Bard more, and I felt like, and I haven't really dove into Bard within the new system, so I never really got into Machinist and Heavensward, so it was first into Stormblood that I actually got in and leveled the job. So I'm going to be interesting to see where I fall in terms of Bard now. Before, I like Bard obviously up to 50, and when I kind of gauge them in and of itself, I still feel like I might lean Bard, but honestly, that's kind of a question that I don't have an answer for yet. So I'm going to have to get to Bard pretty soon, so that way I can, I guess, have a really good comparison versus Bard versus Machinist. And I don't know where I'm going to fall in that regards. It'll be neat to see how I feel about the song mechanics over the Machinist turrets and the heat gauge. But at least, if nothing else, they feel a little bit more different from looking at it at pure paper. My wife plays Bard, and so I felt like the Machinist definitely was different from what I've seen, and helped her set up for her Bard as well. So anyway, at this point, I hopefully I haven't offended too many Machinists out there. I don't think I'm going to be sticking, obviously, with it. It doesn't have any chance of becoming a new main DPS job for me. I think that still is going to go to a caster, which I've been playing around with those. So, I'm going to try to put together some thoughts on that here in the near future. And, honestly, I do love when a Machinist or a Bard is in the group with me. So hopefully some people out there continue to play this job and that other job. So that way we can get that utility. Now, if there's any adjustments that I would see made, it's that, I don't have enough, I think, experience with that. I know people have been hoping for more damage output. They just have been playing around with with some of their buffs, and they obviously just got a little bit of a nerf this time. But who knows? I think I'm going to leave it up to the experts who love the job to talk about what they would like to see changed. I think it was pretty easy to pick up, and I'm going to leave it at that. Not my favorite. I didn't hate it, but it just didn't resonate with me. But anyway, guys, for Work the Game, my name's Brian. I hope you have a fantastic day, and thanks so much for watching this video. If you like it and you like what we do here, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment below. Love to hear from you and have that conversation about this job and any other job, like I said earlier. But until next time, I hope you have a fantastic week, and take care.